So this is so funny. See, people, things happen for a reason. I hear, you. This is crazy. So that's fascinating. We'll have to talk in the post game a little bit. But let's get to you. I love this guy. I can't get it. He's so interesting to me. I can't get enough.
Texas has all these Californians moving to Texas, and I moved out 15 years ago to go to Milwaukee, of course. But I go back to Texas all the time. All my family still lives there. As I said, my brother, my mom still lives in the house that I grew up in. My brother lives Lake Travis. My dad lives in Austin. Those Central Texas. Those are my people. So my people through and through.
That's crazy. That's so funny.
Have you been to the Monument Cafe?
I'm here on my 10-acre ranch out here in Georgetown, Texas. I got only in Georgetown. I got a property that's 50% it's surrounded by a river. It's beautiful out here. I suggest everybody, that likes Texas.
Would that be the San Gabriel River that you're surrounded by?
San Gabriel. That's right.
I used to float down that river in inner tubes when I was in high school and do stupid things.
Oh my God!
You got to put it at the spillway, and then the river will take you all the way down to the park. You know that, right? Do you know this route? Do you know about tubing?
Yeah, my house is on the San Gabriel.
So tubing is a thing that only like Texans know. And I mean, in the South, tubing. Yeah. You go get an inner tube, a tube, and you have to put a car at one side. Usually for us, a pickup truck, and then because you don't want to be walking back, but you put in it at the spillway right there off Booty's Road, and then you float all the way down with a lot of beverages that also float with you, and you got to be leery of water moccasins, Michael. That's really important to stay out of the shady spots when you're floating down the San Gabriel River, and then you end up at the park downtown in Georgetown, which is And when
was the last time you were here? Because they're building everything up like crazy.
It's unrecognizable. I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm there. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, and it's unrecognizable. I grew up in a town that was 15,000-ish, population, and one high school. The middle school was called Georgetown Junior High. The elementary was, there were no names of things. It was just one school all the way up. So, man. And I played for the high school football team for Georgetown. We played right there in the park. And you being in the entertainment industry, if you know the film Varsity Blues, all of those scenes were shot at my high school football stadium with our whole town showing up for that movie. And they've taken that down now, which is sad. They have they have multiple high schools and multiple stadiums, but I always loved that setting, and it was right behind the stockyards. So the stockyards, if the wind would blow out of the south, which it would early in the season, wow, that was a serious home field advantage because the smell coming out of the stockyards for high school football games was intense.
What position did you play in?
I was football. I was a defensive back. I was a free safety. And matter of fact, my high school football coach there at Georgetown was Art Briles, who would go on and coach Baylor, and then a lot of scandal involved in his career. But he's the guy who gave me my nickname, B.A., Bad Attitude is what he called me.
Why is that?
Brian Anderson. He goes, I'm not calling you B.A. for Brian Anderson. I'm calling you Bad Attitude. There's no question. I no question attitude? When I first started. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But I was, not the best teammate. Plus, I was a baseball player and I had a scholarship, in baseball, and I was very concerned about getting injured in football, and I did. I broke my middle finger on my throwing hand, which didn't affect my scholarship, but I had a really bad fracture at the end of the football season my senior year. But anyway, that's why I called him. He was joking, but so.
So you were all into sports. What did mom and dad do for a living?
Dad worked. He worked in the insurance business and created about when I was in probably my junior year in high school. He sold a business. Actually, did really well. Didn't grow up with money at all. We were lower middle class, but he actually home run the business, which would be probably best described as an early Excel spreadsheet for rating software. So he was not a techie. He was the salesman, but he partnered with a techie, and they came up with this rating software where you could punch in numbers. What used to take a receptionist, 15, 20 minutes to type out and have to constantly change. You could plug in numbers and it would spit it out in 2 minutes. And like, he did really well, and really proud of him. Great American story. He's from Gatesville, Texas, so just up the road near Fort Hood. And my mother worked at the State Board of Insurance, so she was kind of on the other side. So she was the watchdog for all the scandal that was going on with insurance companies. So, that's how we grew up. Split parents. They were divorced when I was 5, but they are close, and we were all close. And, my brother and I were fortunate to be raised in a great community like Georgetown.